What is going on, everybody? Oh, almost lost my voice. I haven't even started yet. What is going on? Running a little bit late today. I do apologize, but we'll get it going as quick as we can here. We'll fade that in. Perfect. It worked. Still surprises me every single time. Right, so we're back on Purbeck. And I did, so this is field Biggins. This is field one. I think this is the biggest field that we own at the moment. It's got a hell of a side hill to it as well. Somebody in, let me see, I can look up the name. Somebody in comments told me about some realism mods for 19, and I got both those going. We did have to swap our drill and power harrow combo over to the JCB. I had it on the T-dub, and it just ate it alive. The T-dub was not even, right? Permanent wheelie. So I don't know what that mod does as far as like mass correction or mass adjustment, but it seems to, I like the way it makes the tractors feel. And with a vehicle control add-on and some of the other stuff that we're running, I think that's a good combo. I also realized when I reloaded the game, when I reinstalled FS19, I only had one of the three, they used to be called, it was Dirt Control in 17, was it not? I think they have a slightly different name, but I only had one of the three Dirt Control mods. So I got the other two going in here, and you may have seen in the mini menu, field one, we are putting canola in here. Last episode, maybe the one before that, I said, let's put wheat in here. Let's put some barley in here, get some straw set aside for our future animals. Look at the side hill here. We don't want to be baling in this field. Definitely not round bales. But I don't even think we'd want to do square bales in this field. So I got it about, it's probably 2/3, 3/4 done. We've got a few lengths to go here. I did get guidance steering and proceed. HM Agra, how you doing? How's Tuesday treating you? I did get proceed and guidance steering going with help from the chat. Thank you, fam. I do appreciate it. And I dialed back our scaling a little bit, and I think I may want to, yeah, while I'm thinking about it, let's go here as well and let us take the volume down to 10%. Because I think I noticed when I was reviewing the video, tractors are still a little bit loud, particularly when they have an implement on. So I think everything is reinstalled, game is reinstalled, mods are up and running, settings are good. I think we're ready to get some work done. I've been working in this field manually, and so I think we're going to set this aside for a minute. Let's figure out what we want to do next. Let's figure out what we want some next steps to be. I don't know if we're ready for animals yet, but why not, right? It's a farming simulator, so why not? Or we can, now the T-dub is what, 100 horsepower? 125? Let's take a look. T-dub is 137, okay. So if we go here and we want cedars, 85. I think we want to stick with mounted. I don't think we want to go trailed in these tight fields, even though we've got the horsepower for it, unless this doesn't put any weight on the linkage. It's sort of got its own, I don't know, man. Because let me see, where is it? The Pottinger that we're using, this is like the smallest one that we have from the Alpine Farming Pack. And I think it's one of, get this, it's 130 horsepower. Right? I think this is very similar to the Pottinger. I don't know, man. The Pottinger really just kind of ate up the Ford. But you know what? We'll give it a try. We'll give it a try. So let's lease this thing. We want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do. All right, we'll take a look. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. All right, so we're going to lease this. All right. And then we can drive down there in the Ford. We'll fill it. Yeah. Because let me see, if we look here. I think, yeah, well, combined. So this is 90 and this is 130. So this is, all right, that might explain it. Because the power harrow and the drill combined are like 200 plus horsepower, and I think that even the JCB is only about 175. So, all right. Mostly I just want to play with some new equipment, immerse myself back into the farm. So, yep, sorry I was late today. I was about 20 minutes late getting started. I was up very, very late last night. I was up till 7 o'clock this morning. Doesn't happen too often, but I did go on a bit of a session. You know, that happens sometimes. It's really cool when you game a lot, because I get a little bit burned out sometimes. You ever do that? You look at your library on Steam and it's like, God, look at all these video games. I don't want to play any of them. But you do want to game. So being able to look around and find a title, and I did. I found a title and was able to sort of get immersed in that. But it was nice. I love all the Sims that I've got. Some of them more than others. Some of them, you get a little tired of now and then. But it is nice to come across a title that you haven't spent a lot of time in or haven't spent a lot of time in lately and really just enjoy yourself gaming, to the point where it's like, nah, I don't want to be done yet. I want to keep playing. Oh, hey, before I forget, we also need to figure out where the door is. The new realism mods, they are, hang on, let me get out of the road here. And is this our door to sleep? No. Is this our door to sleep? No, that wouldn't be it. They are the REA mods. Hang on, let me take a look in the comments. So if we go here. Yeah, the REA mod by 900 Hassa. 900 HASSE. Sleep trigger up at the other farm. Right on. Thanks, Liam. How you doing? And then Real Dirt Color, Real Dirt Fix, and Real Dirt Mud by Viper GTS 96. All are from the in-game mod hub. No mod conflicts or errors in log, coupled with the realistic steering by Baloo. Yep. Those are the mods that I installed. I mean, I like it. I do like that kind of realistic play. Sleep trigger up at the other farm. Are you talking about the original farm from Naveswell up at the dairy? No, I don't want to run all the way down there. Let's drive down that way. Let's go find a sleep trigger and then we'll go pick this thing up. And let me know how the sound is. I know this tractor in particular, this T-dub is pretty loud. So yeah, that's a little better. I think that's a little better. And I have to say, let me know, as always, but I am enjoying leaving some beats on in the background. I typically have some music on when I'm gaming, unless it's something really, something that requires like absolute concentration. I like to have some beats going on. And we want this at the moment off. Show lines off. Yep. All right, let's go find a sleep trigger. So yeah, it's been nice to be back in 19. Man, I can't believe it's the 1st already. It's the 1st of December, 2020. God, what a year, man. I don't know where you are in your life right now or how many years you've had as a base of reference. I don't know how many years you have to compare 2020 to. But 2020 has been a hell of a year for everybody. It really has, and it is nearly over. We got one more month to go. Let's see how much madness can occur in the next 4 weeks. But yeah, we're almost done. So we will have Precision Farming DLC in less than 2 weeks, and we will have MXGP 20 in a little more than 2 weeks. I may do some MXGP videos because I play with gamepad, as does everyone, I think. Because I play with a gamepad, I think I can talk at you while I'm racing. I mean, I do concentrate pretty hard, but not quite as hard as MotoGP or Ride 4 or something. So I think I might be able to chat with you while we race a little bit. Farmhouse here. Oh man. This looks like a proper farm. Is this authentic? Anybody live in this part of the world? Is this what a real farm in this part of the world looks like? There's a sleep trigger right there. Right on. Thanks, Liam. Appreciate you. All right. And what else did I want to look up? I don't think anything here, because for the moment, we can't buy any of this land. We can't buy the dairy yet. We do own the wool operation, but this would be this one right here. This would be 200 grand. Yeah, we got like less than 100,000 left. We got to be really careful with our money. I was even thinking about when we get down there, if that Cavernaland, if that Cavernaland is too heavy for the T-Dub, we'll probably rent a tractor, and even things like that. Like, it's the money is just going, and I don't want to get into debt too soon. I mean, I don't want to get into debt at all, but not too soon. All right, so we go back here, back to the store. Oh, right on. Okay, so Purbeck Valley is a real place. That's very cool. I love it. I know some of these maps are based on real places, but then as far as what the map maker does, like the satellite imagery is real, or the terrain contours are real, and the sort of the outlines of the buildings are real, but as far as what the map maker does with the specific buildings themselves, I never know like how true to life that is. I've seen some streams of map makers working, and they've got multiple windows open. They've got an overhead satellite view, and then they're using street view. I saw a map maker using street view, and he built the road, and then he just worked his way down the street, and whatever he saw to the left and right in street view, that's what he added, down to like storm drains, right? I don't know what you call them in the UK, but where when it rains, right, water runs down the gutters on the sides of the road, and then it runs into a little grate down into a pipe, and then off to wherever, somewhere else. But he was modeling in like storm drains. He was modeling in bus stops and benches and signage and everything. Just unbelievable. And as a member of the OCD club, I can relate. It was very soothing for me to watch someone do it. I don't know how frustrating or satisfying it would be to actually do that. I have a feeling if I got into that, I would end up staying up all night a lot. And I can't do that. I have so much respect for modders. I really do. And I can't believe they give this stuff away. It's, it's amazing. And I don't know if these mods were sold for money. I think I'd pay for some of them. I don't think I'd pay for others. But because there's so many of them, I think it gets into that microtransaction area. You know, if there were one or two big mods per month, $4.99, $2.99, that sort of thing. But if there were one or two big mods per week, now you're talking like $50, $60 a month. So I don't know how many mods I would pay for, or how many mods I would get if I had to pay for them. But it still amazes me that modders do this for free. And I guess, when I mention paying for mods, I guess what I'm saying is perhaps modders realize that if they did charge for mods, not a lot of people would buy them anyway. And once one person who buys it decides they're going to put it on the internet, then nobody else is ever going to buy it. But regardless, they do all of this work for free, and then they just give it away. That's amazing. That's community. And then I need to buy a plane. I need to buy a mod plane for X-Plane that's going to cost me $100. All right, I'm going to go third person for this. Let's get hooked up here. I feel like this is a little smaller than... a little smaller than the Pottinger. Not really. It's more or less exactly the same size. Let's see what the front wheels do here. Here we go. Cover your ears. She's holding. Not too bad so far. All right. Let's see how it does with seed in it. And we're right on the limit for power as well. You know, I'm curious that these, we want seed. Let's go 2 bags. It's curious to me that the equipment that you buy doesn't have a weight. It's got a power requirement, but it doesn't have a weight requirement. I don't know. Would that just muddy the waters? Do we need to be that complicated? I don't know. Oh, that's cool. And they've got the animated steps on the side. That was one of my favorite mods for 17 was the Kun Cetera. Because it had the animated steps and lid. And that was like... That was kind of a big deal before all implements had animations. That was a big deal. Alright, this is doing okay so far. And very carefully make our way back. Did we put a beacon on this thing? We did. Alright, and beacons are... Is it here? Nope. Oh, fat finger. Yes, I did find the trigger. Thanks, Liam. Now I gotta find out how to turn my turn my beacons on. Let me see. It would be... It's not both, is it? So that's lights. That's horn. That's engine. Okay, it's still not that one. I've got a keyboard command I can use. We'll edit this out. We'll take this out before I post it. What's that? Going out live? What? I have no idea. I do. There it is. I knew I'd remember. It'll come back to me. Home key. I think I may have reconfigured. No, I didn't. I'm using all vanilla now. It's hilarious. When I do something in real life, you can see it like bounce the camera because of track IR. I was debating taking today off. I was feeling, I wouldn't say I'm under the weather, but I'm really kind of sleepy and you know, you get a little goofy when you're sleepy. I was debating skipping the live stream, but decided to do it anyway. Glad that I did. I'm enjoying this a lot more than recording videos and posting. So I appreciate all your support. And thanks for letting me know how you feel about FS19 and Purbeck Valley. It's really nice to get feedback on the streams and videos. It helps me. It guides the channel. It lets me know what you're into, what works for you, what doesn't. Because ultimately, if this doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. And I definitely want to play games and sims that I enjoy. And that's one of the reasons that I'm not spamming certain titles. I know sometimes I'll post a video or do a stream and it'll have like a ton of views. And I'm tempted to do the same thing, well, like later that afternoon. Just do it again. Go 12 hours. But I don't do that, and I really make an effort the following day to do something different, to mix it up. I never want the channel to be spammy. And I also, I love the fact that we have so much variety in sim gaming. And that's something that, I mean, I know you know that, but that's something I want to sort of reinforce. You know, that there are so many good sim titles, and there are so many good mods, and so many things we can do with sim gaming. I never want to get in the habit of just spamming one title till it's absolutely dead, and then moving on to the next one. So I'm always going to mix it up. Doing a game on this. Small bales only. Interesting. Are you talking about the hand bales, or just the regular size game bales rather than Heston's? When you say small, do you mean smaller than Heston, or the little hand toss bales? And I think 500 liter bales. Yep. You know, I like that. I saw that mod for 17. It was a 2-piece mod. It was the little, and I think it's been reskinned and various modders have done different things with it. But it was, I think it was a New Holland when I saw it, and then it was like this little like basket trailer with a belt system, and the receiver sort of sat under the output of the baler and then ran them up a little conveyor belt. And we want to go 3.7, so let's back up just a little bit. Right over here. So now the next, it's not quite a problem, but where we decided to start our farm, these hills do have quite a bit of grade in them. And so I'm hoping this one, because it has less, that our Ford can do okay on it, because we're right at the limit. And with these mods running, you know what I mean? I'm curious. All right, so let's pull in here if we can. All right, set the brake. Let's hop out here and get the gate closed. Yeah, the bale. Whoa, the bale accumulator. Yep, and I liked that it. Well, at least the one for 17, it didn't stack the bales. It just put them all in the trailer in a big pile, and then you had to hand stack them. Okay, so we've got choices here. The long axis for this field is north to south, but that's also slightly uphill. Can the T-dub make it up this? It's not a terrible grade, but can the T-dub with this implement make it up here? If it can, we can put it on a dumb worker, right? The other thing would be to go sideways and make a lot more turns. Bale sledge, is that like a bale stacker? Where it just gathers them up out of the baler and then drops them all at once? In a pile for the... Turn this off. In a pile for the front loader to come around and grab? Now, here's the next question. Oh, yeah, we can just turn it off. Just saw it. I was looking at... let me just slide over a little bit, because this is not quite... Oh, yeah. This is... You see the steering problems we're having already? This is right on the limit of what this T-dub's going to be able to do. All right. But you know what? We got to experiment. We got to risk these things if we're going to learn anything. So first thing we need to do is get proceed... Oh. Get proceed turned off. Here we go. And at the moment, this is the only way I know to get a cursor. It used to be right control to get a Windows cursor. But for now, I just turn on course play. And then we'll confirm that we have a dumb worker. Confirm that we have, yeah, there's a dumb worker right there. And we want to go lengths. I don't think this matters when you have smart worker turned off, but I always go to lengths anyway. I always try to. We are on... try to get on exactly 0 for a course. There's 359.8 degrees. All right. And we've got wheat set. All right, here we go. Favorite tractor brand? I mean, I'm a big Ford fan in real life, and I do like the vintage Ford tractors. So probably Ford New Holland, but I like JCB as well, and I like Klaas with the Mercedes connection. I'm a Mercedes fan in real life as well, so hard to say. I mean, when I first started playing Farm Sim, all I wanted was a New Holland Smart Track. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I knew nothing about tractors. I knew nothing about farming. I just thought it would be a cool thing to drive, and I started with the absolutely biggest, most powerful equipment, Klaas Zarians, 800 horsepower. And over the years, and with some counseling and therapy from some people in Discord, they've really talked me down to 100 to 200 horsepower. And that sort of points to smaller and like retro tractors. So something like this T-dub, I didn't even know there was a T-dub. before I got away from those big oversized tractors. Well, I take that back. They're not oversized. They're the right size for bigger farms, but they don't fit at all on a map like this. And as I first started playing Farm Sim, because I was on the base game maps that tend to be more wide open and sort of stylized, was it Westbrook Hills, I think? Westbrook Hills was the American base game map in 15 and 17, or Westridge? I don't know. But it's the kind of map where you can use a smart track or a Steiger, and you certainly couldn't use that on a map like this. So I got hooked on small tractors, or smaller tractors. Yeah, smaller, because the T-Dub it's not quite a small tractor. But things like the T-Dub and the MB track, and just sort of moved away from those monster tractors. And I never, well, I have it now because I got the season pass, but I had no interest in the Big Bud pack. And we are, if you're curious, we are just following this thing all the way up to see if it can complete its business. And, yep. Oh, God, just digging tracks in that freshly planted soil. Oh, game. Now, credit where credit is due. The AI, just the regular base game AI, is somehow making that turn. Props to you, hired worker. All right. It's not exactly pretty, but it looks like it's going to work. All right. I'm trusting you, hired worker. And we may as well, let's head down to the bottom and see if they can make the turn at the bottom as well. The one at the top, I think the only advantage is they're going so slow when they get up there. Right? They can't get in a whole lot of trouble. Well, it's Farm Sim AI. They can always get in trouble. But down here with a little bit of momentum, let's see how they do when they get to the fence. And also, if we go 2 or 3 hours today, the sun, I think, may be getting pretty low because it is early spring, which I would say in-game probably represents like March or April. So let's see how we do when we get to the edge of the field here. And let's see how we do as we get on towards sunset. Right. We'll have to clean this up when they're done. I think they're going to leave some room for the fence. Yep. Beautiful. All right. So that's all those are the only 2 tractors we have. We can either go back and keep working in field 1 with the JCB, or we can lease a tractor. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's lease a little tractor. I don't feel like running all the way to the store, so we will teleport. Let's lease, hang on. Is it this one? No, smaller than that. Let's go here. This is from the Alpine Farming Pack as well. Yeah, this thing right here. I don't want to go electric. Not quite yet. I mean, we could, because we're not going to have it long enough to deplete the battery. But we'll just do this. We don't need GPS. We do want a front loader, though. Because I'm going to throw a front loader on here. We're going to stack some bales, take them to the farm, and get ready for animals. So let's lease this. Oh. All right. Lease that. And then we'll go here. Front loaders. Do we need to get something specific for that? I don't think we do. Class. Okay, this one. And we don't need to worry about color. So we'll lease one of those. Need a bale spike. Go back here. So many front loader implements. Good grief. Same thing. We will just go with this. We're not going to mess with the color. And we go back here and back here, and let's get a bale trailer. So we've got a lot. Interesting. I didn't know alpine farming had balers as well. Right on. So we want... all right, all kinds of stuff in here. So this is the 4D, 28 foot. Yeah, that's a little square bale, small. Round bale, small. Let's try this one. Auto load. Yeah, I'm gonna leave auto load turned on, but I don't want to use it. I just want to leave it turned on, and that's 500 to rent. Okay. All right, and we go back and back and back. Pardon me while I tab. Right there, and right there. All right, so let's confirm that our front loader works first before we do anything else. And I think for this thing, while we're down here, let's go ahead and get a weight. Oh, is that only going to be on the Hauer? Yeah, I think that's only going to fit on the Hauer console. Okay. My bad. So if we go then back here, go to the garage. Let's get rid of this just to avoid confusing ourselves. Doesn't take much. So we go here, get rid of that. And we'll just go with, yeah, we'll just go with the small stole. At least that, yes. And I think this will fit, right? This tractor just takes a regular front loader. It doesn't have a proprietary front loader or anything. Yep. There we go, there's that. And that right there. And let's try it one time without. I don't even know where these are going to spawn. Let's move this out of the way and see where these bales spawn. Ooh, I got a small trailer. That's a pretty big trailer. I think this is also just a very small tractor. Well, you know what? We don't have far to go, so we're just, you know what I mean? Kind of figuring it out, experimenting a little bit. All right. So we'll leave this right back here. And let's get, to start with, let's get, I don't know, how many do we need? We're gonna get 4. Let's get 4 round hay bales. There we go. Now we're doing on money down to 80 grand. Oh, great. So let's see how this thing does with no weight. If we have to get a weight, we will lease one. So we want to go. Up here like so. Carefully. I'm right over here. All right. I don't know if you know this, but I do not like stacking bales. I've never, For all the hours that I've played this game, I've never really got the hang of it, and I've never learned to like it. Trying to find just the right angle here as we back up. All right. Could be worse. And as far as the trigger, I never did find an interactive marker at our wool facility. So I think we're just going to need to drive around with a bale on the spike and see if we come across one. See if we find a trigger. And if not, I don't know. Look on Reddit. Ah, there's that perspective again. There goes my voice. I'm gonna need some coffee. Moment. All right. So there's that. And since we've only got 4 of these, I'm not going to get too hung up on getting everything on here perfect. I'll try to be somewhat neat about it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I will say though, that trailer feels pretty sticky. You know, the bales didn't, I don't know if they've made any adjustments to it, but the bales used to really want to slide back off, and they seem to kind of stick on there nicely, like it's got a stripping edge or something. So if that's the case, whoever did that, whether it was the modder or Giants, good for them, man. All right, right in here. So I don't think we'll need a rear weight, so we can just head up there, which is good because I don't know. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but we need to get everything loaded up, drop the weight, put it on the front, drive up there with the trailer, drop the trailer, put the weight on the back, as you have to do in real life. All right. One more and we're out. And no, I don't think we need to mess with that. I was thinking we could throw some pallet forks on here and take that seed up to the farm as well, but I don't think we need to do that. And I drove around the farm a little bit with the fertilizer spreader on to see if I could find a trigger for that. I haven't found it yet. It's not to say it's not there. I just haven't found it yet. But it's entirely possible that there is pellet fert, liquid fert, and seed on the farm. All right. Carefully. And really, I should have. I mean, knowing myself, I really needed to set break here, and we'll go first person. We'll hop out and do this. I could have come out here and no, I don't want to pick it up, man. Where's my straps at? I don't want to pick them up. I want my straps. Where's my straps? Interesting. Okay. And it used to be, was it N? thought it was N, or was it R? Interesting. This trailer doesn't seem, or if it does have straps, they're not the kind that you can do externally. Okay. So let's hop in here and get this hooked up and see if we can do them from in here. I mean, I think all trailers have straps. I'm just not finding it. All right, so we'll go right back here. All right, and we want, all right, now I'm definitely confused. So we're gonna go out here, and we want L. Ah, interesting. Bub it, please. How about that? Okay. So they're not on the sides. Wow, that is super, super cool. Was not expecting that. All right, here we go. So we can go this way, I think. And yeah, I think we'll be okay. I mean, this trailer's too big for this tractor. I went with the smallest trailer that I could find. Well, I'm not 100% the smallest, but you know what I mean. I tried to find a small, appropriate trailer for this tiny tractor. And even this one's a little big, but everything is leased, so we just need to make it work one time. And I'm going to drop this down a little bit, because we've got one underpass that we're going through. And I know we'll have plenty of clearance, but I just, you know, try to have good safety habits. Ooh, yeah, a little bit light on the front wheels. I'm gonna have to do this very carefully, because we've got at least 2 really tight turns. Okay, so what we can do then is we'll take a look and see how the Ford is doing on field 3-7, if they've still got a ways to go. We'll take this back down, return the front loader, the spike, and the trailer, and lease an animal trailer and go buy some animals. We'll probably just use the same tractor to do that. And then, I don't know what, we know where the sleep trigger is now. And if our animals have food and water, I think the only other thing we're worried about is planting crops and keeping everything fertilized and weeded. So if it's fairly late in the evening, we may just skip through till tomorrow morning and then keep working. And I have the season set to 9 days right now. I don't know. Maybe 6 is better. Maybe 3 is better. But I do have them set to 9 at the moment. Swing out kind of wide here. Beautiful. So would these lanes all be one way in real life? Or if you meet oncoming traffic, I mean, here's a wide spot here. You probably sneak by each other. Or does one person have to back up to a driveway or a wide spot? What's the etiquette for that? I mean, I'm guessing if you had a trailer on, like if one vehicle had a trailer and the other did not, the one that did not have a trailer would back up. But if you both had trailers, what do you do? How do you handle that? It would seem like these lanes would be one way, but I think that's just not practical. You know, you can't drive miles out of your way just to avoid the possibility of coming to opposing traffic, oncoming traffic. There's got to be some way to sort it out when 2 vehicles meet. And I feel like that mod, in the comment it said that mod is for if you're using gamepad. That mod kind of slows the steering down a little bit, makes it less snappy. And I would agree with that. I found base game steering to be too sensitive. Even when the sensitivity is turned way down, I found it to be too sensitive. And we want to go, just confirm now. We do want to go that way. Oh dear. All right. Can we make this? Yes, I think we can. Clear the sign. Yeah, okay. Not too bad at all. I thought that was going to be much worse. And I'm trying to think when we get to the wool where we want to put this so we have room to grab a bale from it. Right, because it's kind of a tight yard. We need a little bit of maneuvering room. Oi! Frame rate dropped off. You know what that means? AI is making a turn at the end of a row. Alright, so if we go... you know what we could do? No, this works right here. This will give us enough room. Alright, so we want so. Stick, there we go. Drop that. Let's go find a trigger for these. Right about there. Got it. All right. I think this may be it over here. There is a trough here, so I think this may be it. And 19, I think sometimes you need to, yep, that's exactly what you need to do. Okay. And that didn't take a lot of it. Yeah, it looks like it took about 1,000 liters. So let's find a home for these now. Where do we want to put these bales? How about right in here? And I'm going to put this one over in the corner because we'll use it first. So drop this right here. There's that one. And then these other three, we can put these a little further away, back in there or something. All right. And I think we can grab these from this side. We've got enough. Front loader has enough reach. I think we can get out to those other two. Just started to get dark. I noticed in games a little bit after 4 p.m. and it just started to really look like evening. So I hope we get some good sunset. Clipping through the wall. Depending on what our needs are for hay, for the sheep, because we do have 3 pretty big grass fields. We may put up a lot of hay and keep it. We may put up hay and sell it. If we can't make silage, well, we can, but we can't sell it anywhere, not at the moment. Unless we bale it and sell it as silage bales, which we could do, I guess. But I guess what I'm saying is only part of the hay that we put up this year we're going to need for the sheep, and the rest of it we can't sell. Because these bales go pretty far. You know what I mean? You don't need like 60 of them. More like 7 or 8. Alright, so that goes there. There we are. There's 2. This will be 3. Beautiful. Now, do we need this trailer for anything? Since we already have it leased? I would say possibly we could bring up seed and fertilizer if we... I haven't figured out definitely yet that we don't have seed and fertilizer triggers in one of the yards. But even if we don't, I don't know that we need a whole lot more seed or fertilizer this year. So maybe we could just leave that for now. Yeah, let's do that. So we need to head back to that side of the map anyway. Alright. So there's those 3. Safe this. Right? There's that one over there. The water is already piped in. We already got the water plumbed in. So let's see how Ford is doing on field 3-7. I mean, I'm going to run over there and take a look. Not too happy with those stripes. What do all those stripes represent? What's going on? Let's see what we got here. T-dub. Now, you know what I end up doing when a worker makes a mess of a field is I just lease a great big piece of equipment. Oh no, this is fun. What? What? So out beyond the draw distance, what are those stripes I'm seeing? What is happening? Are they weeds? They're not weeds. I don't know what these are. Yeah, there's a little bit of weed right there. I don't know what these stripes represent. It looks like the entire field is planted. But there's something going on. In between the rows or at the end of the rows. I don't know, man. I don't know. Alright, so we'll hop back in our little leased tractor. We'll take the trailer that we leased back to the store. We'll return that. We'll lease an animal trailer. And we'll go down to the animal dealer and we'll get our wool operation started. Okay, cool. And then when we get back, don't know if the Ford will be done. If it is, we'll put the Ford in another field. And then we can hop in the JCB and do something, or we can do something else, or who knows? We'll figure it out. All right. Oh, look how little this thing is. Like, in a good way. It's so compact. Like, that seat is so low to the ground. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So we'll get hooked up here. Alright, and I think if we pull forward into the pit, or can we just... Oh, we don't even need to mess with that. We're out of here. Beautiful. Oh, and before I forget, because my voice is going in and out, starting to fade. Let me have some coffee. Better. All right. I don't know if those stripes have anything to do with seasons or with fertilizing. I don't know what those represent. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was an arable field before. It's not like we turned under grass or anything. Typically when I have a problem like that, I just lease a great big tractor and a great big drill. I just paint over the whole field to fix it. Do that off camera. But I think that's going to be okay. I mean, it looks like when we look at it in person, not on the map, it looks like the seed texture goes fully side to side. I just don't know what those green stripes are. Unknown. Right, so right back through here. And fortunately, this map maker did not put collisions on like every leaf and branch and twig like some map makers do. I think the nicest compromise is to have just a single collision barrier in the center of the hedge. So you can't drive through them, but you're not constantly getting snagged in them. It's so frustrating when you're trying to make a turn like that and a little branch or something snags the front loader and stops the entire tractor dead. I mean, in real life, a tractor would rip out a hedge. It would damage a hedge before the hedge stopped it. Well, depending on the size, but you know what I mean. A single branch wouldn't stop a 2 or 3 ton tractor dead. So I like when map makers set it up with a little bit of a compromise. Might not be 100% realistic, but it makes the map a lot more playable. All right. Here. I can tell you something about live streaming that I haven't quite sorted out yet. Is I always try to put a thumbnail up before I start the stream. So as much as possible, I make it, appropriate and relevant or whatever. But like today, I didn't know that we'd be in this little tractor. Just kind of making this up as I go along. I didn't know we'd be in this little tractor, or I would have used something like this for the thumbnail. So other than, I mean, I guess I could like go back through. I don't know how you would do that, because there's no way for me to capture a thumbnail from the recording. I can, but it would be like super low res. So as we evolve, right? As we're playing, we figure out, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because I never have any idea what it is that we're going to do. I don't always know how to like set up the thumbnail. But I'd rather things be spontaneous. I prefer that. I like figuring things out in real time. Solving problems. All right. Carefully. Carefully. Good there. Oh, we're good there. All right, so we're going to keep the front loader on here for now. I think that makes sense, because we do still have bales to work with. All right, and we can just drop this right here for now. All right. And we can return that. All right, and that is this thing right here. So return that, and then we want to, what would that be under? Animals? Animal transport. We can just go with this. 10, 13, 10. Yeah, I've never used this mod before. I've used the 4D Broen before. I've never used this Roland. Let's try this one. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so go here. We're going to get it in this lovely blue color. We'll lease that. right? Boy. Yeah, this is an awfully small tractor. Go outside again. I mean, not... Ooh, this thing is killing our frame rate. No. It was just loading up. It's okay now. When we first went third-person view on that, we were at like 20 FPS. No, that's not... maybe it is. I was thinking that's not that ridiculous, but yeah, it sort of is. Now, that's interesting. Control group right fence. Is that... Let's see if we have that selected. So if we do... No, not that. If we do this... Unfold livestock trailer. Control group right fence 1. I think you can IC the gates maybe. See if we can figure this out. Button A. All right. Here we go. So we'll fold this up again. No, that's the front loader. No, it's not. Interesting. Okay, so when it says control group right fence, you can, I don't know if you can see that, you can manually, I guess, configure this. So when you get back to the farm, you're not going to have any escapees. Then how do you switch it over to the other side? Control group right fence. Right. Wow. Okay. A lot of detail in this mod. Maybe that's why it took a minute to load. All right. Let's get out of here. Beautiful. Hop back in here. Oh, and here we go. And the animal dealer is... I hope they're open this late. It's what time? 4:30? 4:30. They should be open. They are on this main road here, and rather than turning to the right as we do to get back to the farm, I think we're just going to stay straight. That's how we get up there. Okay. Traffic there. No traffic there. Beautiful. So the animals are, what do we say? $450 a piece, I think, for the merino. So that'll be $4,500 per trailer. You want to go 2? Spend 10 grand? And have 20 animals? Yeah, I think for breeding purposes, I mean, if we want to carefully... Oi, light on the front wheels. I think if we want to make more animals, ultimately, the more we have, the faster they make more animals. So let's go with 2 trailers of 10 for a total of 20. Let's see how quickly they breed. I don't think the merino breeds super fast, but you know, the more we have, the faster they can breed. All right, so let's turn some of those on. Turn one of those on. Go get this gate. There we are. I like this little tractor. I do. And I mean, it's not that out of place. God, I don't know why that happens. So I walk up to the door, right? And I always think I'm further away. and then it always takes that like last final step, hit the collision and end up on top of the tractor. I do try to avoid that. All right. So turn those off. We'll turn those off, and we want to be. How fancy do we want to be here? I'm going to try to back it right up to the... Yeah, let's do. Can we get into... Yeah, we can get into the animal dialogue if we do that. All right, so we want to... pull forward just a little bit. Right. Just like that. Oh, beautiful. All right, and then if we do this, there we go. We want 418 pounds. So if we do 10 of these, that's a little over $4,000, right? Confirm that. There they are. Fold this up. 10 of these come back, we'll get 10 more. That's 8,000. I mean, I'm gonna go 3. We could go 3. Yeah, we could do. All right. Oh, not turning. Not turning, sir. Yeah, problematic. This is going to be a handful getting up the hill. Okay, so this tractor is, I mean, it's a fun tractor. It's a cool little tractor. It's just a bit too small. And also, let me take it. Yep. It's just a little bit too small. I think a front weight on here would be, that would help out. We'll just have to be very, very careful driving up the hill. And we've got a couple of very tight turns to make, so it's important we've got the front wheels as planted as possible so we don't end up in the hedgerow. All right. Playing first person like this really has me thinking about getting a side stick. I don't think you can get the Cytec side stick anymore. I'm sure you could find one used on eBay or something, but I don't think they're making those anymore, are they? The tractor panel? I don't think they're making those. I've got a flight stick that I used for a while. The biggest problem that I have is because I play on gamepad, I'm constantly taking my hand off the gamepad to reach for the flight stick. And then the other possibility after that would be to just go wheel and pedals with a flight stick. Which, I mean, I know that's a really good setup, and a lot of sim farmers use that setup. I think it would just be, for me, it would be, I'd have to learn like a whole new, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like learning a new language. But this first person, and Track IR is where it's at. I would recommend it to anybody. Track IR is so cool for, particularly for flight sims, but for truck sim, for racing, for everything. It's just really, I don't know. It's amazing because from when I first plugged it in, immediately, just completely intuitive. I thought I would have to learn it or get used to it, and there's no getting used to Track IR. It's just, it's like you're already used to it. But I'm glad I did it when I did. I wish I would have done it sooner, particularly for flight sims. And that was the only reason I got it, was for DCS. Flying that Mustang in DCS, I couldn't use the hat switch on my flight stick to look around quickly enough to really be effective in combat. Now, it turns out with track IR, I'm still not effective in combat, but at least I'm closer. I'm on my way. I love DCS, but it is a really hard game, particularly in the World War II aircraft. Well, I say that. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, I'm not very good at the game, and it must be because it's so incredibly difficult. It's a hard, realistic sim, but I'm just not as good at it as I would like to be. I think about experimenting sometimes and just fully committing myself to one sim only for like a quarter, 90 days, a quarter of 1 year. Just play one sim, whether it's iRacing or DCS or whatever, and see if I crank up the skill set. See if I get to a point where I feel really competent in that game, in that sim. Because something like iRacing, I do have a great time, but I'm not. I mean, I'm in low splits and I don't have a great I rating. I've got a fantastic safety rating. I've got a 5.0 safety rating, but my I rating it's not good. And I'm told that what you do is you use one to build the other. That you build up your safety rating in time trial, and then you trade away your safety rating driving aggressively, which is the only way to really finish well. And when your safety rating drops before you get relegated to a lower license, then you go back and rebuild your safety rating with more time trials. I mean, I don't disagree. I think that absolutely could work, but I don't know if my OCD could tolerate that. I don't know if my OCD could tolerate like deliberately driving in a way that, I mean, I'm not saying that those people drive recklessly or cause crashes. I think you have to get in and mix it up if you're going to finish well in a race. I start from the pits a lot because I just can't. Oh, that lap 1, turn 1, that big scrum, it just drives me crazy. And I'm never off the front, right? I'm never on pole. I'm always like mid-pack qualifying. So I get caught up in that. I get tagged from behind a lot. If people late break turn 1. And you just get taken out, your car's damaged, and you finish really, really badly. So I start from the pits, and I know that's one of the reasons my I rating is so low, because I always start from essentially last. And the funny thing is I still finish mid-pack because so many people crash out in iRacing races. But something like DCS for another example. Just spend 3 months playing nothing but DCS. Wonder how good you'd be. This is going surprisingly smoothly with this wee itty bitty tractor. It's going all right. And I think, yep, that's right there. So we want to go right here. Flip it around. All right. Beacon's off. Beacon's off. I mean, how close can we get? Hang on, let me go third person for a minute, kind of orient myself, see what I'm looking at. I mean, we're basically lined up. We just want to be a little bit to the left of the tall pole. So, a little bit to the left of that. Okay. I don't want to smack into it. Let's say right about there. How'd we do? I'll take it. All right, we're going to unload. And as soon as we do this, I want to take a look and see, because I want to say we put 1,000 liters of hay in. So let's just take a look. And animals are still here. Animals are in seasons now. And that is Alt S. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so they do need water. They're okay on grass and hay. And I'm going to, I just heard this music. We'll go ahead and skip that. Go to the next one. God, it's like music to go insane to. All right. Hop out here. Let's go test our water pipes out. All right. There you go. Very happy. Right over here. All right. And how do we do for, as far as how much water we put in there? 325 liters for 10 for 3 days. So 100 liters per day for 10. So approximately 10 liters per day per animal. Okay. So back to the store. Oh, let's see how Ford is doing. Moment. Ford has, I think we can be down there and back before the Ford is done, and then we'll put the Ford on another field, and we'll make one more trip down there and get a third load of animals. All right, deal. And we are, everything's closed up back there. Yep, everything's closed up. Put her in gear, here we go. This is a really nice contrast to cattle and crops. And I think when I think about cattle and crops, I feel like cattle and crops is very drilled down on certain activities, right? Very detailed, very realistic, very drilled down on certain details. What I think of as the mechanics of farming, the nuts and bolts stuff. But then it's missing a lot of other stuff, right? It's got a lot of depth, but not a lot of width. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Whereas the Farm Sim franchise, exactly the opposite. It's got a lot that you can do, a lot of activities, a lot of things that are sort of simulated more superficially, I guess. But there is a lot to do. So, two ways of looking at simulating farming. I like them both. I do. I burn myself out on cattle and crops. It's my own fault. But I think until there is a second map or third map, until there are more mods, and until I don't know. I mean, that's the original map, is it not? Yeah, that map's probably 3 or 4 years old. So if you were on the early access, you've been playing that same Albertal map for 3 years, 4 years. So I think that's, I mean, I know they're stretched pretty thin, and then with COVID and everything else, I get you. I know. So I'm not throwing shade or anything, but I do think there needs to be more content for the game, and I think the devs are just not up to it at the moment. I think they're too busy squashing bugs and trying to optimize the game to create new content. From another perspective, I think if creating content for cattle and crops was quick or easy, they would have done it over the past several years, because they had to know, releasing the game, that it was pretty light on content as far as maps and vehicles. They had to know that, and you would think that if something could be done about it, they would have done it. So that tells me it's maybe a bigger problem or a bigger challenge than we think. But as the game fills out a little bit, it hopefully feels a little bit less grindy. You know, when I moved away from Farm Sim to cattle and crops, one of the things that I was thinking about was how we have the ability in Farm Sim, rather. We have the ability in Farm Simulator to just sort of paint fields, which is, I guess, the opposite of grindy. Every problem is very easily solved, and there really aren't a lot of consequences. Whereas in cattle and crops, almost everything has to be done manually. I mean, you can assign tasks to workers, but you still need to sort of participate, especially with something like fertilizing. So it's exactly the opposite of that. it's a lot more grindy, and there are really sort of big consequences for mistakes. It's not easy to fix things like it is in Farm Sim. So, like I said, two sides of the same coin, two different ways of approaching the idea of simulating the activity of farming. And I think they both get a lot of things right. And there are both sides have things they could improve a little bit. And what I'm really curious about is what precision farming brings. I think both the best case and worst case scenario would be if precision farming brings in maybe not all of, but a lot of, most of the soil chemistry and fertilization details from from cattle and crops. If they were to bring that to the Farm Sim franchise, I think that would really not be good for cattle and crops. I want cattle and crops to succeed. I always have. But I think if Giants brought in, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, like I said, but if they're able to even capture most of the complexity of soil and fertilization that cattle and crops has, I think that's going to be difficult for the cattle and crops devs to overcome. And the soil deformation, the terrain deformation, I mean, I like it. I do think at the moment it's a bit over the top. But I think the reason for that is because it's a big part of the game. It was a big part of the pitch, right, for cattle and crops, is that it would have proper 3D terrain with deformation. And I think they've exaggerated a little bit to make it more obvious, more apparent. Like maybe they'll tone it down a bit in future patches, because as it is right now, I think it's a bit over the top. But the tractor physics and some of the other things, I mean, if Giants is to bring got that, yep, if Giants is to bring oh, hey Jenner, thanks man, I appreciate that, that's really nice, thank you. If Giants is able to bring even half or 2/3 of the complexity of fertilization that cattle and crops has, if they're able to bring that to Farm Sim, that's going to be tricky for Master Brain Bytes to overcome. Confirm that. Smack that. Oh. Never mind. I thought you were talking about like when you're at the club, you know? Jaden, what is happening, man? How you doing? I like your sticky keyboard, Jaden. I like your enthusiasm. All right, let's get this backed up. We'll get some beacons turned on. Get on out of here. And I think the Ford is going to get just about all of that field done. Here. Hop right in here. Beacons on. Here we go. Now, how do we feel about cleaning up the edges of fields? I know field 1, I've left some sort of headlands on the side that I intend to fill in. Yeah, they don't like when you do that in the club. Save that for later. Take it outside. So we'll have to see about cleaning up these fields. I think field 3-7 that the worker did, maybe we'll just leave that one, even though it's got some ragged edges. And then field 1, we'll put in a couple of headlands. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we've been driving in the Colorado DLC. In ATS. I used to live in Fort Collins, Colorado. In Fort Collins, Colorado, out on the edge of town, there's a bar called Washington's. And it's like in this big old farmhouse. And it's got multiple floors. And every floor has a different kind of music. So one floor is like hip-hop and club. One floor is house, right? And there's a basement. So I got in a fight in the basement of the wash bar. It didn't go well. I'm, I mean, I'll get in a fight if I have to, but I try to avoid it because it generally doesn't go great. I mean, even when nobody wants to. Oh, nobody wants to fight. This ain't the movies. Grown-ass men don't want to be fighting because it always ends up. Every fight ends up with like one person on their tummy, right, with their hands trying to like protect their head, and somebody sitting on their back. You always end up with your shirt ripped, right? It's not like the movies. It's not glamorous. It's always just kind of greasy. So, but I've been in a few fights. A couple of them have went okay. A couple of them have not. This one did not go well. So basically, I got beat up in the basement of a bar, right? Then the bouncers grabbed me, right? And as they're throwing me out, they're beating me up a little bit too. So they throw me out just as the cops get there. And then the cops beat me up a little bit. And they didn't arrest me, which was nice. Ultimately, they just sent everybody home. I mean, not the whole bar, just me and the people that were fighting. We all just got sent home. Like, you go that way and you go that way. You can go home or you can go to jail. And since nobody wanted to go to jail, then we all just like sort of made our way home in separate directions. So I got beat up in a bar. Then I got beat up by the bouncers in a bar. Then I got a little bit beat up by some cops outside a bar. And then I had to walk home. Worst night ever. The end. That's it. That's the whole story right there. All right, we'll get these animals dropped off. Let's go 30. Oh, same thing happened last time coming up this hill. Very steep right through there. Jaden, brother, I love you. But maybe less emojis. Yeah. Oh, so now I got to stop the tractor and lead over. You know what, Jaden? I'm not gonna let that one go through. That's too many emojis. That's too many. Some emojis, okay, but not too many. Yeah, time flies. It really does, Jenner. Time is, I don't know, man. Time is something else. I've always been into watches. Watches and clocks. I love them. I always have. And I didn't realize until a couple years ago that I'm really into time. Time fascinates me. Like the idea of time, the philosophical concept of time fascinates me. And I think the reason that I like watches as much as I do is because it allows you to wear a representation of time. Yeah. Not a Casio. I used to collect watches when I lived in Los Angeles. I don't collect them anymore, but I kept a couple good ones when I sold my collection. Oh, Jaden, I appreciate you being here, and I do love the enthusiasm. We gotta have a little bit of order. We can't have things descending into chaos. All right, so we'll make our big turn here. Beautiful. Just about clipped that sign with the front loader. Beautiful. And this is, oh, here we go. Okay, so this is field 3-7. And yeah, I mean, maybe we might be able to get down there and get a third trip in before they're done. If not, they will finish when we're about midway through our third trip. So then what we'll do is we'll put the Ford onto another field. We'll go return this trailer and this tractor, and then we'll decide what we want to do next. All right, so we'll get this flipped around and backed in just as we did before. And I think, I don't think the level of hay in the trough is going to drop considerably, even when we put other animals in there. So I don't think we're going to be able to add more. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. The Ford and the JCB, neither one will take a front loader. And once we return this thing, we have no way. Oh, I love track IR. I love it. Once we return this thing, we have no way to get those bales in there. Now, we'll only need to feed every 3rd day. All right. Right about. Right there. Right about there. Right there, I say. Let's see how we did. Could go a little further. All right. We only need to feed the animals every 3rd day. Yeah, I wouldn't say I went a little bit crazy when I lived in Los Angeles, but I was really enjoying living in Los Angeles. That's a good way to say it. I was going native. All right, so we'll get these all unfolded and we'll confirm. Close this up. Yep, I was part of a software startup. I was driving back and forth. I lived in Palos Verdes in the south part of LA down by Redondo. I was living in Palos Verdes and our offices were in Irvine. So I was driving down the 5 every day in my BMW. I had a personal assistant to take care of things for me, and I was, yeah. The strangest thing about LA is after you live there for a little while, you start to think that's what the real world is. And I was definitely, I wouldn't say I was like losing track of reality, but I was losing my perspective, and I was beginning to take myself a little too seriously. I was having fun, but I wasn't necessarily including other people in my fun, you know? And I never wanted to become the kind of person who wants to enjoy themselves and wants to do what they want to do regardless of the consequences to other people. I never wanted to become that person. I want everybody to have fun. I want everybody to be successful. And I never want to, I never want anything positive to come into my life at the expense of somebody else. So I had a fun couple of years in LA, but I left at exactly the right time. I never wanted to become an a-hole. You know what I'm saying? And LA will do that to you. LA is a long way from Purbeck. Yeah, it's LA is a long way from reality. I lived in Palos Verdes. I lived out on the peninsula. We had wild peacocks. Not a joke. You can Google that. Palos Verdes peacocks. We had wild peacocks strolling around my neighborhood, and there were jasmine bushes and hyacinth bushes, and the air smelled like perfume, and I'd wake up every morning to the sound of peacocks. That was my alarm clock, and I could stand out on my deck. I lived right on the beach, well, above it. I could stand out on my deck and look out between the palm trees at Catalina in the distance. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it can definitely it can affect the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. You know, I've spent a lot of time in the mountains. My favorite thing about the mountains is they humble you and they remind you how small you really are. You know, when you're on a glacier, when you're on a mountain and you look above you at how far you have to go and you look back behind you at how far you've come. Like in a literal sense, when you look back behind you and you can see your cars in the parking lot miles away and thousands of feet below you, and you still have thousands more feet to go, you feel very small and very insignificant, sort of helpless in that environment. And I've always found that to be very comforting. There was an alpinist named Alex Lowe, and he said when he climbs, he feels small, and he likes that because he really is small. All of us are small in comparison to the universe, but we can forget that sometimes, and we can begin to feel very big. But the mountains will humble you and remind you how small you are, and how irrelevant that might make you feel. But at the same time, you're very small, but you still play a part. We all play a part. So that's what the mountains taught me. And when I lived in LA, I was forgetting that. I was beginning to think that I was very big. And even by LA standards, of course, I wasn't very big. But you know what I mean? You get that distorted perspective. So I got out just in time. You've got peacocks near you? I mean, it's interesting. they block traffic quite a bit, and they make a racket. We're good. We're good. Yep. That's my LA story. I feel like this tractor... Yeah, they block traffic where you are. They block traffic where I was. And there are two... Is it a flock? What do they call a group of peacocks? Is it a gaggle? Is it a murder? What's the name for the group of peacocks? I don't know. Herd. A flock. There's two of them. And Palos Verdes it's not that big. And they would just strut around being peacocks. Yep, they do that as well. Is this us? This is us. Okay. So we'll go get filled up one more time. Oh, probably did not have enough clearance right there. But you know what? They know me in this neighborhood. They know what I'm capable of. All right. So right in here. Right in here. We'll get this backed up one final time. Again, I feel like you would have, in real life, I feel like you'd have a helper. You'd have somebody flagging for you. Let's say right about there. How do we do? Oh, not so good. All right. Close, though. All right, so we'll get these open. I'm going to have some coffee. Owned by a local lord. Yeah. I don't know about that. I've never been into... what is that? That's not... Is that nobility? Is that the lesser nobility? Right? So you got kings and queens and princes. And then one down from there, like barons and earls and dukes. Is that the lesser nobility? I've never been a big fan of that. Never been a big fan of that. I think because it's hereditary. You know, because you're just born to it. I'm an American, and even though we've got a lot of family fortunes and our own form of people that are like born to wealth, lesser noble, yeah. We've got plenty of that in this country, but I don't know. I'm very egalitarian. I have no problem with capitalism. I have no problem with people with money, people that are rich, people that get rich, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to, well, you know what? See, I almost said it. That's how easy it happens. That's how quickly politics can creep into a conversation. I have no opinion about family fortunes. There we go. I have no opinion. I've never even thought about it. All right. So this is our last trip. This will give us 30. Now, is there a way to see? Yeah, I think there may be. I think there may be a window where we can see what the reproduction rate is and kind of get an estimate on how many animals they'll make this year. Could be wrong about that. We're going to stop right here, throw the hazards on because we're done at the animal market. Oh, all right. I thought I swung that a little wider. All right. The oldest monarchy? Interesting. I had no idea. I was going to fly. But we got no guns. Yeah, you know, that's another one of those topics. You know, I've learned from watching streamers. I mean, most people have opinions about almost everything. And even if it's something that you've never really thought about, if you think about it for the first time, then you'll form an opinion. So, you know, if you landed on this planet from somewhere else and you had never formed an opinion about some of these political topics, if you did your research and, I don't know, whatever, got the information, you would then form an opinion. You know, you'd have an opinion about these very divisive topics. But I've been watching streamers and I see how quickly things deteriorate. And so regardless of what my opinion may be, I absolutely want to keep it to myself. It's really important. There's enough political streams. And you know what? There's enough, even outside of YouTube and Twitch and social media, there's enough conversation about that. I feel like we need to find some things that we can agree on, or we need to find some things that we can disagree on, and be laughing as we do it. You know, I like cattle and crops. Somebody else doesn't like cattle and crops. Okay, so we can go back and forth about that, but we can be laughing while we do it because it's really not life or death. It's really not a big deal. But people just get so serious when they talk about politics or political issues. I've made a conscious effort to avoid that for the life of the channel, and I always will. Sim gaming and cars. That's all we talk about here. Oh, I got you, Jenner. Yeah, no, you're good. No worries at all, my friend. For me personally, I've found that it just escalates too quickly. But no, you're always good. You've been here from early days of the stream, so you know you're always welcome. All right, so we'll get these dropped off, and we'll see how the Ford is doing. I want to say the Ford's done, so we'll take them over, and yeah, we got leased equipment. We've got probably an hour of daylight left. So maybe we get, because we've still got field 2 and field 6. No, we've got 3 more fields. I got you, Jenner. You're good. No worries, brother. We've got 3 more fields to do. We've got 7, 2, and 6, and I still have to finish 1. Let's do this. We'll drop this off carefully. Drop these animals off. We'll go take the trailer back. No, we won't, because then we'd have to drop the tractor off as well, and then we'd have to teleport. So we'll just send everything back from the farm. We'll take the Ford over to field 2 or field 6, and I will finish field 1, and then we'll sleep through the night. Okay, that's our plan. And what are we down to? God, 63,000. We could sell the tractor if we had to. I don't know what we'd get for it, and I mean, we'd get more if we sold the JCB, but I feel like we can do more with it. It's not even evening of the first day, and already I got money problems. All right, here we go. Let's flip this around. I like this little tractor. I think this would be perfect on a very small Alpine map. You know, like that one they just released. Oh, a little too far to the side. I don't want to hit this. Yeah, let's straighten it out. Let's do it right. A little too far to the side. That's better. We stopped too far forward last time, so we'll go back a little further. Right about there. Perfect. All right. Beautiful. So we get these unloaded. All right. So we have 30 animals now. 250. I'm going to turn that off. We'll hop out here. Let's get all this returned. So we go here. Leased item. So we're going to return this. Yes. This. Yes. This. Right? And this one. Fantastic. All right. 935 AD. That's crazy. That's so long ago. Man. I love stuff like that. I'm a big fan of history. I love it. I was in Holland. We met some people we met them in Amsterdam, but they are from Haarlem. So we ended up hanging out with them in Haarlem. And then they also had guests. So they were Americans. They were living in Haarlem. Oh, look at this timing. Are they really on the last row? What? Well, they missed a little bit here. What's our worker doing? So they were American. They were living in Haarlem, living and working in Haarlem for an American company with offices in Holland. All right, so we'll knock this out manually. Obviously, I'm American. My girl was American, and they had friends in... They calling that one unit, or did it drop it? All right, let's try to salvage something from this. But they had friends in from the U.S., and one of their friends, the guy's grandfather, was the organist at the big cathedral in Haarlem. And he was the last person to play the organ before the invasion in World War II. And then after the liberation, nobody touched the organ until he got back. So he was the last person to play it before everything went sideways. And then he was the first person to play it afterwards. And that kind of history, that's amazing. I love stuff like that. I think I want to do this. I think I want to make a row here. Yep, I think I want to make a row here. And then a row next to it. And the row next to it may not reach all the way to the grass verge, but I think it's more important that we connect to the crops. 660 BC. That's, oh man, that's crazy. All right, so we want to turn this on, right? Then we want to lower. And I'm going to back the cruise control down and see if we can just creep down this hill at like 3 miles per hour. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. All right, that's working. That's working okay. I know when I lived with my dad in London, there was a tube stop that I used to get out at. And as you're exiting the train station, as you're exiting the subway station, there's a Roman wall there that's like 2,000 years old from when London was Londinium. Yeah, it's all perspective, you know, because in the U.S., if something is like from the 1700s, that's old. Come on, little tractor. These are all these realism mods that we got going. Come on, you got it. Yep, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so one of these mods adds, I think, different traction profiles. OMG. What's up, Jaden? What's going on? I think one of these realism mods that we're running adds different traction profiles for different soil conditions. And I think that's what we got going on here, because the same thing happens with more realistic in 17. If you've got one wheel on one surface, that OS. You talking about Windows? I know. I'm not a fan of Windows either. Oh, okay. I thought you meant something else. Never mind. I mean, it's an appropriate amount of comments. All right. So let's get that turned on. And we're pointed the right way. We're in the right gear. Here we go. Here we go. Yep, we're just going to creep down this field. Oh, I don't know, Jaden. I don't know. I mean, you go a little bit crazy with those emojis. You know, everybody's got different ways of expressing themselves. All right, so we'll lift that. Beautiful. And let's do the same thing here. We'll go a little bit to the right and try to get one row down the edge of the part of the field that's already planted, and then we'll do another one next to it. So if we do have a gap, I'd rather have a gap at the edge of the field rather than in the center. All right, so right in here somewhere. Oh, and I just realized I could be doing this first person. And I know I'm really creeping here, but I'm creeping because I don't want the tractor to get away from us, because that drill is so heavy on this thing. And with those realism mods and traction mods, it's slipping quite a bit. Alright, and it looks like, I mean, walking across the bottom and then also looking up on top, it looks like our worker really did as much as possible go all the way to the edge of the field. So I'll take it. Jenner, I never thought about that. I never thought about that. That is, yeah, it's a very interesting observation. I'm going to need to think about that for like a week. Yeah, look how close the worker got. They really didn't leave a lot of gaps at the edge of the field. Interesting. Interesting. I think we're going to have to leave a bit of a gap right here. I mean, we can pull forward into the hedge, but I always feel bad doing that. You know, doesn't feel super realistic. Oh, right about there. All right. And now, I guess we could do it on this side because we can use the edge of the field. Oh, this is going to take a minute. This is going to take a minute. I got to go third person. Yep. Jaden, you got stung by a wasp. That's terrible. Where did it sting you? I think in real life, we would just be like absolutely digging holes in this field with our tires. I do like the realism mods. All right, that's not bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's not like, I don't know, on your face or something. I like the realism mods. I really, really do. But I think we've got a relatively low horsepower tractor. And even though we went with, tried to go with a low horsepower requirement drill, I think we're just too close. I think this belongs more on the fast track. But I don't want to get a bigger tractor. I think the T-Dub is just about the perfect size for this map. And fortunately, we've only got another 70 or 80 feet to go here. And we won't have to do this. Well, at least we won't have to do it anymore this episode. But you know what? This versus low ratio. Yeah, it is. This is what we're doing in we're in if you look down in the lower right hand corner, because we're running VCA. This is LL1, so this is the lowest gear we've got. And I don't think VCA has four-wheel drive and diff lock. I used to use drive control. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if drive control is available for 19, or if it is, if it interferes with VCA. But I think four-wheel drive and diff lock would sort us out relatively quickly. But like I said, I don't know if it's possible to run both those mods. For some reason, I think it's not. But I'll take a look in the mod store and see what's available. Oh, come on. 10 more feet. Come on, little T-Dub. You got this. Now, what we might have done is turn the drill off and the power harrow, and that would have given us back all that PTO power that we're losing. But we're here. We made it. All right. So back in here. Lower. Cruise control. Here we go. But the Wasp... The Wasp is a tarantula. Half Wasp? I don't know, man. You're speaking in haiku now. You lost me. Oh, look at Jenner. Dropping truth and knowledge. That's true. Life is pain. And I think we can, yeah, throw some lights on. It's getting to be evening. So let's do this. We'll get this lifted. We will, we'll keep this stuff for another day. I don't want to drop it all off and then pick it all up again tomorrow. But it's, no, we'll keep working. The one that lays eggs in tarantula. Is there a wasp that does that? I didn't know that. So we'll go right on here. All right. And now we can turn that off. All right, so this field is done. And we're at, perfect. We're at half a tank of seeds. So we don't need to go down and refill this. We got enough seeds we can keep working. Okay. So let's take this over to field 6, field 2. There we go. Yeah, I guess there's a little gap down here. Not terrible, though, for the most part. Got this whole field full. All right, here we go. Here, I'd like so. Beautiful. Now, next question. We take a look at the map. We're putting canola in field 1. We've got wheat in field 3-7. You want to do... let's take a look at the grade. Let's take a look at the slope of field 2. And think about either canola in 7 and wheat in 2 and 6, or the other way. I don't want too much wheat in fields with a steep side hill, because we are going to have to bale those. I mean, we can go square bales, but more expensive to rent. Carefully. All right, and is it right here? Yeah, I think this is it. Yep. Oh, and I did finish off the bottom of this field with the subsoiler. So I think everything's been plowed, everything's been cultivated, and everything has at least 2 layers of fert on it. And some have 3. All right. So if we go, let's take a look here. This has, I mean, it's got some hill to it. It's not terrible. It's not like field 1. We put canola in field 1 because I do not want to be baling up there. Get this open here. Field, ooh, it just got really dark. Field 6, it's not flat, but I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of slope. I think, yeah, I think we're gonna do, let's do wheat in the 2 of these. Yeah, okay. So we'll go grab the T-dub. And do we, when we set up our hired workers, do we do that in seasons now? And here. Where do we set our workers' hours? Or is that here? No? Realistic steering? No? All right. Yep, off the top of my head, I can't remember where we set our workers' hours. So I don't know if our worker's going to quit working at like 6 or something. Or is that... Moment, please. Let's try this other one. Go here, go here. Go here, here. Yep, I can't remember where it is. We'll just see what happens. If they do have hours, I want to say it's 6 by default. 6 p.m. is when they quit, unless you have them set for overtime. Yeah, this thing is... It's not that big, but on this tractor it just feels so big. Alright, here's our gate. And let's just go up this side. We're already on this side of the field. It doesn't matter whether we go east to west or west to east. It's all the same. Jenner, this is Farm Sim 19. I know. I just reinstalled a few days ago. Come on. Come on. Yeah. That realism, though. Let's try all the wheels on one surface and see if that works any better. Nope, not really. You had it as cattle and crops. Now, is that... The title is correct. Is it not? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do too much wiggling and waggling here. Yeah, I really like those realism mods that we brought in, but we are absolutely struggle bus trying to get up these grades. Now, these are, in fairness, these grades are significant. I don't think they're exaggerated. I think these are the types of grades that you would encounter. Oh, okay, cool. I thought maybe I put the wrong title in. I don't think these grades are anything beyond what you would encounter in a real farmer's field in the UK. But nonetheless, they are pretty damn steep. So, yeah, come on. Same thing as in field 3-7. We've got another like 20 feet to go and then we're done. We don't have to do this anymore. Come on. You got it. You got it. And we've got, yeah, when we get into the JCB, we'll have a couple headlands to do up and down. We've been doing all of our lengths side hill, so we'll have a couple lengths where we'll have to climb the hill. But we may, I mean, depending on what kind of grip we're getting, we may have to do what we did in field 3-7 and just back up. But I will remember to turn the implement off and get that PTO power back. And our implement, our Cavernaland drill that we have on this rig is off right now, so we're not losing any power via PTO. We're just really, really struggling. We're in the lowest gear that VCA has. It's not trying to change up or anything. It's just, this feels like Western Shore before we adjusted the traction in the more realism mod. Just struggling all day. Come on. Start making our turn here. Try not to hook the back of the drill into the barbed wire. Got it. Got it. Come on. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Ah, I love it. All right, so we'll go side hill here. And I think we'll get this field done. I don't think we'll get field 6 done. So let's just confirm that we're on a dumb worker. All right. Whew. That was exciting. Let's just confirm we're on a dumb worker. And we are. I'm going to swap this over to point the other way. I don't think it matters, but I always like to check anyway and confirm that we are on wheat. Yeah. How many bales do we need? We've got that other field for wheat. Yeah. We'll do wheat in this field. We're going to have to go square bales, though. All right. Need a tractor. I mean, come on. T-Dub is mighty. All right. Let's hop out of here. See how they're doing. We'll watch them go through a couple cycles just to confirm. We're holding pretty good frame rate with the lights coming on. Things seem to be working all right. Oh, that is... Hang on. You hop back in here. Hop. Bump the cruise control up. Just a little bit. Not quite that much. Hang on. Can't we just be right in the middle? There we go. That looks about right. I do like farming at night. I know it doesn't necessarily work super well for videos, but I do like the way the game looks at night. Both 19, 17, and Catalan crops. I think they all look good. There she goes. All right. I'm wondering if I shouldn't put some headland in, but it's too late now. All right. Hop up. I said hop over. Hop over here. And I think, yeah, I haven't saved the game, or I haven't X'd out of the game since I got this all set up. So I think all of our GPS coordinates will still be intact in here. All right. And this is I put a ridiculous amount of time into editing this tractor, and I made headlight is for noobs. Yeah, I couldn't find an LED light bar, so I made my own LED light bar. And then me and a couple people in Discord spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make it work. Like, work proper. So we've got an LED light bar. Ah, love it. I love it. All right. So we're going to turn this on now. And then we're going to go here. We want to be able to see this, right? That's all still set up. I think everything is in the right place. I hope. Let's go right over here. Yep, everything still lines up. Beautiful. And we've got maybe 7 or 8 lengths to go, and I think that'll probably take us to the end of the live stream today. So we're going to turn this on now. That's on. That's on. Go back here. We'll guidance steering. We'll cruise control. And then we lower. Beautiful. See how this looks in cab. That looks all right. That looks all right. Okay, cool. Me and T-Dub, we're a team tonight. We're getting some work done. Beautiful. And I've got till the end of this row to have a little coffee. Yep, this is working out. Perfect timing. I didn't think I'd come back to 19 at all, but that precision farming really has me intrigued. And I'm genuinely curious to see how that plays out, what it looks like when it's done, what it's going to do. I don't know if it's a big surprise they're working on, because I haven't seen a ton of like detail. I haven't seen a ton of screenshots or anything really specific about what it does. And that makes me wonder if it's amazing and they're just saving it for a big reveal, or if it's really, you know, just a different color of paint that we're going to paint fields with. Unknown. But I can't wait either way. Really looking forward to it. And hopping back into 19 with all these new mods and new techs and just being away from the game for so long, it's almost like getting a new title. I know they didn't release FS2021 this year, but if they did, they would have released it like late October. It's typically when they release. And then it's got the year of the following year. So in October, late October of 2018, they released FS19, right? 2 years ago. So this isn't FS2021, but in a way, it sort of is. Yeah, go right there. Oh, that auto stop is dope. Wonder what Bill Gates do as a farmer. I don't know. Bill Gates he's a pretty smart man. I suspect if he was a farmer, he would be a very efficient farmer. All right, so we'll come right in here. And as always, where to drop. So we'll turn this back on. Let's pull up here ways. I'm trying to get these even on the edges so our headlands sort of fit in there. We'll go right about there. And here we go. And let's take a look. How far down is... Oh man, T-Dub is making me nervous because they're out in field 7. They keep going through that hedge, and I'm concerned that at some point they're going to just start drilling in field 7. I hope they don't. Yeah, they're turned around and going back the other way now, but that's, I don't know. Base game AI, base game workers are not the smartest. All right, and I did. Well, you can see there, I did get tram lines sorted out. So we will have tram lines here, and I believe we will need to weed. Yeah, we'll have some weeds growing, so we'll need to weed. I was told a while back that if you plow, you won't have weeds that season, but I've not found that to be the case. I get weeds even after I plow, so I'm assuming we'll have to spray for weeds. And we will be using the row crop tires, so I mean, I don't know, not entirely realistic. We do have crop destruction on, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh, and of course that draw distance. Oh, what a buzzkill. So it goes. And we got plenty of seed in here, so we won't run out for this field. So yeah, we'll just go till the end of field 1, and then wherever T-dub is, when I finish up with field 1, we'll just call it right there. All right, there's our tone. And it stops right there. I love it. Probably a few too many passes on that 3-point turn. It was more like a 10-point turn. God, if they ever do bring compaction to this game, I'm screwed. I got problems. All right. Oh, no worries, Jenner. That's what Tuesdays are for. And 2020, I feel like 2020 is the exception to every rule. Like there's so many times in 2020 it's just been like, you know what, screw it, it's 2020. I've really been trying to maintain my gym schedule. My gym was closed for like 5 months, so I was just like running around the golf course and doing a lot of work in my condo with a kettlebell, but I was doing everything I could to maintain my workout. And that, like, people are talking about the lockdown lard, you know, everything has just been so disrupted. And, you know, we're all doing what we can. I'm not, as always, because everything becomes political. I've got no opinion about, you know, lockdown, this, that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're all doing our best with it. Everybody wants things to be back to normal. We've just got different ideas about what's going to get us there quickest. But in the meantime, I've done everything I can to maintain my schedule and, you know, to keep my fitness up and keep my mood up. And, you know, I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, even when I don't have to. Like, everything, just keeping it together, man. We're all just trying to keep it together. Oh, you don't drink normally? Oh, okay. Extra buzz for you then. Yeah, it's 2020 is... I really am curious what possible madness could come our way in the next 4 weeks. Who knows? It's going to be something crazy. We're going to end it with the same way we started it, just completely chaotic. All right, and there's our auto stop. Oh, let's try to... yeah, it really is. It really is. It's you know what? Like the poet said, I can't talk about it, and I can't talk about why I can't talk about it. But I feel like COVID is such a hot topic that you can't even talk about it as a. You just can't talk about it. All right, so we'll start this. We'll drop right about there. Yeah, it is the hottest of hot topics. But I think we turned the corner on it. I hope we have. We got vaccines coming. So maybe 1 year. And you know, when you think back to how long World War II went on, you know, you had people that were overseas fighting for 2 and 3 years. They got drafted. You know, I know in Iraq and Afghanistan you had people that did 2 and 3 tours, but it's all volunteer armies. You know, so when their tour was up, if they wanted to leave the service, they could, and then they wouldn't go back for a second or third tour. World War II people served 2 or 3 years overseas, and because of the way travel was, it's not like you could just duck home on a weekend the way people can now. 72-hour pass and you can fly from Iraq back to the US and spend some time with your family, birthday, funeral, or something. 2 and 3 years those people were overseas, and that was an unbelievably difficult time. It really, really was. Not just the fatalities, but to think about, what we had to give up, what we had to sacrifice to get through that. So COVID, I know it's been extremely disruptive, but if the disruption lasts for basically a year, right? So March of 2019 to March of 2020, that sucks, and it's been really hard for a lot of people. And there've been some, in addition to all the human lives that have been lost, there've been a lot of financial and economic complications, obviously, but nobody wanted that. But if we can get through it in a year, I think decades from now we can look back on this like, yeah, that sucked, but we got through it. And there have been some other really terrible times even in the 20th century that went on for longer than a year, and we got through them. We'll get through this. I know we will. Very optimistic about everything. Let's get this backed up. And then right around here. And then right in here, I say we got, I say we got 3 more rows, 4. This might even work out. I was concerned that, let's drop that right there. I was concerned that our final tram road line would be too close to the edge of the field, but I think we're just about going to make it. Because we're on 4 right now, so this next length will be tram line. And then as long as we have 3 or 4 next to it, we'll have enough room for the boom on the sprayer to clear the hedge. So yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I didn't plan it that way. Yeah, it's been absolute madness. It's when times are good, when things are boring, you hear people say things like, God, I wish I could live through some history. I wish I could see the kinds of history that my grandparents saw. And then when you do start to live through that kind of history, it's like, yeah, okay, enough. I don't want to see any more history. I just want things to be boring. I used to work in IT, and I used to be, I was a crash crew. I fixed very dire problems that needed to be fixed very, very quickly. And I remember working with a client, and it was midnight. We'd been working on some problems since about noon, right? And it looked like I was going to get everything buttoned up, and they would be back online by the following morning. And I remember telling my client, I really do love solving problems like this. I really do love dealing with crisis. I find it very satisfying. And he said, yeah, as a business owner, I like boredom. I like when nothing happens. I like when absolutely nothing happens. We just, we get to work, we work, the work gets done, and then we go home and nothing happens. And that's always stuck with me, that when things are exciting, it's fun in its own way. But excitement typically means things are going wrong. And that's not necessarily the most efficient way to do things. I mean, it happens. It's just the nature of systems. The more complex any system becomes, the more likely it is to at some point become unstable. But yeah, boredom is nice. Boredom is nice sometimes. All right, this is our tram line row. Yep, we can see out behind us there we are throwing down tram lines. So I think as long as we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, as long as we have 3 more lengths, and I believe we will, then our boom will be able to clear the hedge. And somehow this worked out perfectly. All our tram lines are evenly distributed across the width of this field. I have still never seen, not in 17, 19, I really wasn't in 15 for very long, just a couple of months before 17 dropped, but not in 17, not in 19, not in candle crops. I have not seen a system to calculate the width of a field and estimate how wide you want everything to be. If there is one, please do let me know. I personally don't know of one. I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's a kind of measuring tool, you know? Now we've got variable width on our broadcast spreader. We're running the variable spray width mod for that. But the boom sprayer has like actual physical booms, and in tight fields like this with the hedges so close, I feel like that could have been a problem. I don't want to say we got lucky, you know, because who wants to admit a perfect outcome was just luck? But we did get lucky, because we could just as easily have ended up with a half a row, and we wouldn't have known what to do with that boom. Now in real life, with those spray systems, you can fold in sections of the boom, or you can fold in one entire boom. Is that correct? But I don't know if that's the case in 19. It may be. They could have patched it or updated it. Who knows? So we're going to lift that. Let's get flipped around here. Get right back in here. Right about here. I put front weight on this tractor. It still doesn't seem to be biting on the front end. We seem to get a little bit of float. And it's a pretty big rig we've got on the back there. But I feel like that some of these 3-point turns that are requiring like 7 turns, I think it's because the front end doesn't want to sit down. All right. I think we're going to get 2 more in there. That's all we need for the boom to clear the hedges. I think we're going to make it. And look at this. What time is it in game? Going on 6 p.m. Perfect. You know, maybe it will. I've seen 2001. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan. I've seen 2001 many, many times. I am still really not sure what the hell it's all about. I like it. I'll watch it anytime. It's a beautiful film. I don't know what it means. And it's, I don't know, you know, true art, real art, they say it can mean whatever you want it to mean. You know, it means whatever you think it means. But, yeah, I don't get it. Where's our... Uh-oh. Where's T-Dub? Uh-oh. Are they... What? Are they just out of the draw distance? It says they're down near the bottom of the field working, but I can't see them. Moment. I cannot see the T-Dub, and it should be, like, right there. Oh, no, it's right there. Oh, I'm looking the wrong way. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was looking in the wrong place. Yep, Jung and Kierkegaard. That's that's where I go when I get stressed. All the answers. All right, there's our stopping point. Beautiful. We got this little gate to deal with, so we'll be mindful of that. And I think, yeah, let's go a little bit further around this time and sort of back out the gate. Like so. All right, and then over here. Yep, that works. All right. And like so. Drop that. Oh, there you go. He's on the home team. Yep. I'm a big fan of philosophy. I think it for me, what it does is it strips away a lot of the emotion and a lot of the, I don't know. I think we confuse ourselves sometimes. We make things more complicated than they need to be, and for me, a big part of that is emotion. I read once that emotion is the enemy of logic. It's the enemy of reason. Emotion is what allows us to make bad choices and feel that they're appropriate. But being OCD and being autistic, I find data-driven solutions, data-driven conclusions, for me, they're the ones that stick the best. But to get to that point, I have to strip out all the emotion, and philosophy is, for me, it's very helpful to do that. Philosophy is a good tool for, I guess, seeing things as they are, seeing them factually rather than based on our feelings about them. Oh, that looks nice. Seeing the Ford down there with the lights on. I was rotated, like in my mind, I was rotated 90 degrees and I could not find the Ford. Oh yeah? Right on, Jenner. Me too. Yeah, we're on the team. All right, so right here, about here. Man, that is so nice to have that auto stop. I'll take it. I think we can turn around in this little corner. We got to be careful, but I think we can turn around in this corner. And then I think this is, the field's got a bit of a taper to it, but this is going to be my last width that I do. Last length? Width. This is going to be my last pass. And we'll have a little gap on the left, but that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, I didn't either. Had no idea. That goes right there. Had no idea, but I'll tell you what, once we did sort that out, once we did figure out that that's what was going on, it made everything else fall into place. There was a lot of early part of my life, teenager, like elementary school, junior high school, high school. There was a lot of confusion, myself and other people around me, just trying to figure out like what's going on here, because there weren't any like real glaring problems, but something was not right, something was not fitting properly. But once I figured out that's what the problem was and began to manage it, right? Because again, data driven. As soon as I figured out that was the problem, I went and did the research, right? And oh, okay, so we got to do this and we've got to do this. And once I figured out how to manage it and harness it, it really is, it is a superpower, but that's the rule in comic books. If you get a superpower, you get a super vulnerability to go with it. We learned that lesson with Superman. Superman has a superpower. He doesn't really have a super vulnerability. Kryptonite, come on, man, that's dumb. Superman just has a superpower. He's got no vulnerability, so he's boring. That's why nobody likes him. He's just boring, But autism, it is a superpower. But it's you got to manage it because it's a vulnerability as well. Yeah, I can relate, my friend. But you know what? Be glad you got one when you did. Try to see the best. I'm not telling you what to do, but try to be grateful that you were able to figure it out, because some people never do. All right, and I think we'll sneak in one more half row here, but our boom will clear all this stuff, and that's it. That's us done. Oh, this is so cool to be back in this JCB. I love it. All right, and then we will. Where are we at on time? We're at about 2 hours 40 minutes. That's perfect. We'll see how T-Dub is doing. Oh, you know what we can do? Hang on. Yeah, good for you, man. I think that's the best any of us can do, is just find our way in this world. I was going to do a half-row shut-off, but I think I'm just going to start from right. Well, no, I mean the dots, the little dots on the field guidance say we can fit a whole row in here. Mostly. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit wide right about through here. Yeah, we'll cut it off right here. I think that's far enough because it really starts to pinch down. Okay, so then we will put it back in gear, right? Field guidance, drop, cruise control. There we go. Well, Jenner, I'm really glad you have figured out what you have figured out. Congratulations, my man. I'm glad that worked out. And this is, yep. I think that's us done. Perfect. And what I'll do is, oh, that's so immersion killing. That's when the AI just like drives back and forth through something. What can you do? I will let the T-dub finish off camera. And then next episode, we pick that up. That'll probably be Thursday. Next episode, we will start from early in the morning. And I think the animals will be okay for a few days. Although, we gave them 1,000 liters of hay, but we put it in the trough before we had any animals at all. So I'll need to take a look, because it could be that because we have 30 animals, that they have gone buck wild on that food, and there's really not a lot left. Oh, and you know what? I still have to do, I still have to finish off the sides of this field. Okay, so let's do this. Let's lift this. Let's turn everything off, right? Let's turn these lights off. Let's turn this off, right? Turn that off, turn that off. And because this was working hard and running hot, and where's our, do we have a light? We do. Because that tractor was working hard, we're going to let that run. Oh, hey, no worries, Jenner. I will be here. I'm going to try to go daily. I need to take a day off every now and then, but I'm going to try to go daily 1 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know what that converts to UTC, but I'm going to try to go daily 1 p.m. at least for like the next 6 months. I think that's an appropriate amount of time to give the live stream an opportunity to grow and experiment a little bit, see what works and what doesn't. So, yep, I'll be here every day, brother. No worries about that. We're getting a little chuggy on frame rate right now. Frame rate is still good, but I think with the lights coming on, it's starting to drop off a little bit. Okay, no worries. And I can keep playing with settings as well. I've got everything on Ultra, and you know, I've noticed several titles where when you go from Ultra to very high, there's really no visual difference. Like, I can't spot any difference in the game. Now, I'm on 1080p. I'm not on 4K. So it could be that if we went from Ultra to high or Ultra to very high on 4K, we would notice a big difference. But very often, I find when I drop down from Ultra, the game doesn't look any different to me. You know, it just could be my crap monitor. But I don't notice any difference in the game. And we're only pushing out in 1080p 60 anyway. So I may drop some of these settings down, see if we can pick up some FPS without really impacting the way the game looks. So we'll go up here, take a look at T-dub, and we'll call it. And then we'll be back tomorrow with probably X-Plane. Now, I was planning on flying from Paris to Rhodes, right? Because that's the next stop on the Jason Bourne tour. After Paris, right? After the Safe House with Nikki, he goes to Rhodes to see Maria. But that's a long flight. Probably too long. So, I don't know. I mean, Jason Bourne went to like every city in Europe. He was in London. He was in Berlin. So there are a lot of cities we could fly to that are about a 1 hour flight. So we may do that in X-Plane. We'll figure something out. Whoa, easy. Easy, hired worker. Getting a little crazy in the T-dub. We'll turn that off. There you go. Yeah, we'll be there soon. I wanted to be there by the 1st of the year, but we'll get there when we get there. All right. Thanks, everybody. I do appreciate you. You're a great audience. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the stream. X-Plane tomorrow. FS19 on Thursday. See you soon. Take care, everybody. Good night.